Because of Jesus.
Wow, you are all welcome again. Parenting in 21st century. We bless God for another day like this. Mommy Adegori tell you are welcome again. We thank God for the opportunity God has given unto every one of us. And I apologize. Can still use your this thing. Maybe anyway. Just use it anyway. We bless God. Today, to everybody that is on here with us, this is 21st century parenting. The 21st century. This is the program that everybody has been waiting for. You have been waiting for us. And today again, we have another great personality in our midst. Last week, a lot of people made comments on Facebook, YouTube. They are saying, wow, what a great work, what a great impactful program for the time that we are. But today, you are going to say more wow because I believe today is going to be a great time in this program, 21st century parenting. Again, I will need to just introduce my anchor woman, the person that we did do it together, the person of Mrs. Adegoris and Mr. Dodowa. You are welcome, man, again.
Yes, sir.
Bless God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So now, today we are together with one great practitioner of early childhood. He's a doctor. He's a doctor in UI, University of Ibadan. University of Ibadan. They say greatest UI. I don't want to say that. Everyone they just talk about that anyway. But we have him, wonderful Dr. Salame Ishola Akindele. You are welcome to
Thank you,
this
sir.
program. This is 21st century parenting.
I appreciate it.
So he's from Faculty of Education, Department of Early Childhood and Educational Foundation. So you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
We have to have you on this program this afternoon. So to everybody listening to us, it is very important that every one of us know. I want you to listen to it. Today we are going to look at the aspect of early childhood. We are talking about last week when we had the woman that came, Mommy
Patricia
Abukede, when she came around, she talked to Mommy passionately about this aspect of early childhood. But now we now have a doctor in the house. Now, what can you say about this early childhood? I mean, what can you say about this formative stage in our children? Because many people we don't take note of this. Can you just tell us what are your experiences on this particular one?
Thank you very much. Early childhood is that period of human life from birth to 8 years, and a lot of research has shown that that period is a period that is highly important because it's the time when the whole personality of a person is formed. So when that aspect of that period of life is well handled, there will be less problem at the later part of the years. But if a child is mishandled at that formative years, there will be problem. And let me give you a very simple research you can also do at home to show you what could be the problem. Just get 2 buckets, fill it with soil, loamy soil, the same type of soil. Plant the same seed in the two. Then get fertilizer, get water, everything. Make sure you nurture one very well. From that time is growing to like 3-4 years. The other one, just maybe once a while, put water, once a while, put water. And at the end of the day, when it is about 2-3 months, started watering them the same way. And what will happen in the next 6 months to the two plants? They will never look alike. They will never be the same. The reason is that if a child gets all he needs when he's forming, when the formative during the formative years, all the necessary nurturing and nature comes to that child, then you won't have challenge at adult stage. You won't have problems with such a child. But when a child lacks some important things at the formative years, there is no amount of struggle you put into, trying to educate such a child. That lack will still be there. That problem will still be there. So that is why we said early childhood education is still. I was just smiling when you were telling me that many parents in Nigeria still don't cherish this level. Is it parents? It's all Nigerians.
Okay, you educate us.
All Nigerians don't appreciate early childhood education. Let me start from up. Federal government, when they give allocation to education, they will give recently below 10, and out of that, what is the percentage going to secondary, primary, and lower primary education? Go and check it out. Now, uh, let's come to the states. The same thing that the federal government throws to them. In fact, they will still take some through corruption. Some will go away before the little will go there. The majority of us, the citizenry, majority of us take our children to school with the concept of how our forefathers looks at school then. Jeleosemi, let me rest. This child is too troublesome, so let me have a place to keep the child while I go for my work and do all my things. That is it. I may ask you, sir, that as we are sitting down here, when you put a child, age 3, into a school, what are you expecting? Let's assume you pay 50,000, 30,000 naira to educate this child. As a parent, what are you paying for? What is it you want the school to instill in that child? Ability to speak English?
At the age of 3.
Ability to calculate mathematics count from 1 to 1 million? Is that what you are paying for? But ask parents, what exactly are we paying for? We don't know. So it's not a matter of some parents. The entire Nigerian citizen, we have not come to that age to appreciate what formative years is all about. Despite the fact of what we've been doing in the university, despite the fact of what we've been doing in the conferences, organization, we have National Association of Early Childhood Society in Nigeria. Every year we release a communique, but people will look at it and say, let me make you laugh. Let me just make you laugh. Last 2 years, 2019, Ekiti State government approached my department that we should come and train their teachers on how to handle children and what the teachers should be doing with children, just to train the teachers that will be working in the early childhood education. That was when Fayemi was still there. So we went there, and there will be Ogada will be saying you, Ogada will be saying you. So this man came to us, and it's now look at my professor, Professor Dudu, and said, okay, you are the woman from Ibadan. Said yes. Said, what are you people come and do here? Is it not only to clap for the children? Is that what you want to collect all this money for? Clap. We want to come and teach the teachers how to clap for children. You see, I was quickly to respond to him. I only said, sorry, sir. That means nobody can clap in Ekiti. And you are now coming to Ibadan to come and recruit us to come and clap in Ekiti. That's too bad. That is it. And these are top officials, educationists. The man happens to be in the education sector over there. That is how bad it is, sir. I don't know, maybe I've answered your question.
This is our problem. It's a problem, it's a national problem, or it's global problem, because now we we are trying
Sorry,
to,
sir.
yes,
It's never global.
it's never global. It's not global.
It's never.
Okay,
Let me tell you something. During Obama regime in United States,
okay.
there was a year, I can't remember the year, when they were making budgets. Early childhood education took the highest budget in their education. Why? Because they understand, they understood what early childhood education is all about. And if you look at it very well, it's the most expensive level of education
Over there.
everywhere in the world.
So what?
Early childhood is most expensive.
So why is that our own is so different, or is it our?
So when our people now travel to the United States and they said, oh, this is creche, this is early childhood area, this is preschool session, and they look at the place, they will come to this place and be making noise. You need to see what they will do there. You see, the way we're talking, you can't be talking, you can't give instruction to a child. They won't understand. You must provide those resources needed for the child to understand that instruction. But here we don't. It's highly expensive. But we don't do it. All we will build. There was a paper I wrote sometimes and I published. Some people read it and they started querying me. I don't care. I said 2004, when federal government said they started this pre-primary in all public primary schools, in 2012, which is about many years after, 8 years after, I now research on it, and I described the classroom of children as a child cell. Cell ẹ̀wọ̀n ibi ẹ̀wọ̀n ibi tá a lè kọ́ ọmọ kéékèèké sí. That is the only description I can give to those classrooms.
So in the area of education, sir, what we are trying to tell us that we have not even gotten anything
at all, sir. At all.
We have not even. So what we now do is with what you just said that okay, even our early childhood, so to say, in quote, is just like a cell.
The classroom provided for our children in public schools.
Now, you are not looking at even the federal. What about the private schools kind of?
Good. You see, we thank God for some individuals and organizations that came to our rescue. Because of private intervention, we were able to see some. And again, there are two schools of thoughts about this. The first is that if you check the educational policy about this private or no private FASOS preschool session, federal government of Nigeria made it clear before 2000 that aspect of education they are not interested. It should be in the hands of private individuals and organizations.
Wow.
That is what invites individuals. Some of these individuals came into the sector with the intention of giving quality education to the children.
Which is a little bit expensive.
Better. It will be expensive. Of course, it has to. If those people, some of them that really think they should make the money from the sector and give the education to the children, it is a bit expensive. But there are some organizations that they were able to give the quality, but with getting little from the parents. The little they get, they just... There are another school of thought that believed that public schools were destroyed simply because we have option. If government said education of the citizenry is the primary responsibility of the government, and they take it as such, there will be private schools, but there won't be many. The only set of individuals that will be able to come to say, I want to give a school, will be those that have something significant they want to give that the government is not giving. That is what is happening in a good society, in a sane society.
In a sane society.
Yes.
Wow.
That is what is happening.
In a sane society, that is what issues
look like. Government should take responsibility. In such a situation, nobody collect money from age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4, age 5, age 6, age 7, age 8 children in the name of you want to give them education. You don't collect dime from their parents. It's their right. Nobody pay for their rights. And you have to give them quality one if you are looking for quality future.
Sure. Wow. 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 I say something about this. I begin to look at, honestly speaking, to everybody that is all our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, you are seeing what we are really talking about. When we look at, we are trying to provide a solution to what is happening all around us. Parenting. How can the area of this parenting, we are moving going beyond the parents, all over is everybody, including the what, including the government. That's what you are really trying to tell us. But when we are looking at the situation holistically, you discover that the problem is so deep.
It's a little bit deep, sir.
It's a deep. It's a
Yes,
deep.
I agree with you, sir.
But stepwise, honestly speaking, you are coming in again, definitely, because I know you are loaded, and we want people to really understand. You know, I'm with Dr. Salame Sola Akindele, Faculty of Education, Department of Early Childhood and Educational Foundation.
Foundations.
That is the person that we are having on 21st century parenting. So now again, Doctor, with all what you are saying now, early childhood and the formative age for all our children, many times we have missed it. What can we do to repair the broken bridges?
Hmm.
It's a brick wall. The broken bridges, we know that we have a problem because when we are looking at the level of hooliganism all around, the level of early pregnancy, all this, a lot of things are happening all around that we don't look at the root of the problem. We just look at the fruit and we are trying to attack the fruit, but whereas the root is there, which is what you are really talking about. So how can we broken bridges?
Sir,
Yes.
let me start from home.
Okay.
So that's back to
That
Yes,
parenting.
yes. Every parent should take this one from me today. That when you are sending your child to a school, please demand for 4 things from that school. 4 things that must be empirically instilled, assessed, and report to you. 4 things. What are these 4 things? Social development should be number one. Let the school instill social development into your child. Let that social development be measured, be assessed, and let there be a report, empirical report. Now, what's empirical report? Why am I underlining this? There was a research I carried out. I want to know, maybe our teachers really understand those things they're supposed to give to our children. And when I got to this, intellectual, cognitive development, how far is the children? They are doing well. English, 99%. Mathematics, 80%. That's good, man. Any other thing? Say subject in penny. Okay, man. Social development. What about that? The interaction of the child with people, with his peers, with adults, with so what he said is, when it comes to social, emotional, and physical, it's like we observe it. No. Tell your school no. Get instruments that can measure social development, assess it, and report it. So I've mentioned one, right? Social, emotional, physical, and the last should be intellectual. And mind you, the last is what we emphasize. Is the last. And that is what we emphasize. From home, please tell them this is what I want to be paying for, and I want to be saying it. Do you know the beauty of it? If a child will be a killer as an adult, he will start the demonstration from the youth, from that formative years. Take it from
I want him to say that again.
Viewers, I want you to listen. This is, honestly speaking, some of us here, we see some of the issues that we are discussing. These are very, very critical to every facet of our society, Nigerian society. Look at what our doctor just made mention. Dr. Salam, can you just repeat that statement again?
What I'm telling you is this: a child that will be a killer, a thief, a kidnapper, you started seeing the traits in that child between age 5 and age 8. Do you know one thing? That is the only time you can also correct it. Research has shown that several times. That is the only period God gave to you. This child will be aggressive, but you can correct it now. But if you miss it at the 8th year, you fail to correct it, it will show you some demonstration at secondary school level. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do again. Nothing.
So what I do?
So what I'm trying now to say to parents is that if all of us parents watch out for these 4 things in our children and we maintain it. Now, there was a time I delivered a paper at the educational summit in Abuja, and I said that I won't be the first person to say it. I just want to say it according to the new, my own age now, that we build corrupt politicians in our schools. All the these what do you call them? Then we don't have these S-men so serious. Then it was these Niger Delta guys, Bonkri, what do they call them? Militants.
Yes.
We are the one that creates them in our school. Somebody asked me how. I now said, have you ever traveled out? Have you noticed that at preschool and primary schools, teachers supposed to measure emotional and social development of these children? And when they discover that emotionally you are not good enough, they quickly correct it before you go to secondary school. Can you tell me any school in Nigeria that is doing it? What do we mean emotional? It is emotional development. If I will see a morning in my care and I will identify that morning, not be my own, I will not touch it. I won't touch it. It is if I have developed emotionally. It is emotional development that will make me see a girl coming to my office half naked, dressed, and I will say, please, will you go and dress up before you come back? You can't come to my office this way. I won't think of raping. It is emotional. Those things are supposed to have been developed from between the age of 5 and 8. So parents has a lot to do. Don't look at school building, coloring, and painting, and say this is the best school for my child. Please don't. We have to stop now. That is one solution. The second solution is to the school now. Our teachers, they know now with what I've just said that if you write a report at the end of a session for H3 child, and what we see there is English language 99%, mathematics 20%, you are not doing what the job in your hand is not done at all. It is your responsibility to identify every child to his social development, emotional development, physical development, and intellectual development.
But most of those things that you are just saying, doctor, they are not really describing some of our report cards.
They are not.
There are some students in Nigeria. Now, there are some schools that they know, maybe the proprietor or the head teacher realize, if you don't touch these areas, it's not complete. So they will never measure it. They won't give assessment about it. They won't do anything. But when they get to your report, they will not say, social development, the child is good. Emotional development, the child is perfect. Ask them, what is perfect? In English, but you said 98%. So how do you come to this place? It's now perfect. Where is that no figure? Because they didn't measure it. They don't know how to measure it. They don't have instruments to measure it.
It's not abstract.
You don't do that. You don't. There are instruments. There is one significant job I did in University of Ibadan, and such a job you don't just see from anybody. It's not common. I have a patent on this thing we're discussing.
Wow.
Because I discovered that many schools, the reason they don't do it, that they don't have the instrument to measure them. And I developed it from age 3 to age 5. For each classes, all those things that will measure all those things. So we are trying to, after the patent, people said I should say, it's not a matter of saying, let me introduce to Subeb or your state. Let me introduce to people that in our school, we're supposed to use this thing to correct.
Some abnormalities.
It's still there in my table now. I've used it for promotion. Because people don't see anything meaningful with it. Maybe because I'm not connected.
You're not ready to play politics.
I'm not ready to
politics or something like that. Because when you see Nigerians discovering something that shows how bad our system is, some other people they will not like it to try. They will put it down.
Who is he?
They will say that
Man,
that you don't need them. And you just said now that you have discovered and you have all the instruments and such.
Very easy to use. Very easy to use.
Viewers, you are with us on 21st century.
Sorry, sir. Before we go, let me. You said solution. I've said the parents. I've said the school. Can you please allow me to say the society before I close that? Sir, there is no way, with the type of leaders we have in this country, with the type of government we're running, there is no way our government, even if tomorrow they said there should be no private school, government want to take responsibility of all schools, they can't do it all. But private is not option. Governments cannot give us the perfect school we want. Private school is not the next option that we should be thinking about. Yes. I'm serious about that. Yes.
So can we go on the break now?
Let us have a break. Please, viewers, just stay tuned. We are on 21st century parenting. Live direct with me is Dr. Salami Ishola Akindele from Faculty of Education, University of Ibadan. Yes. We'll be right back in a short while.
Another direction.
Wow, doctor, you are coming back. I keep on saying you are coming because you cannot exhaust all these things that you are really telling us because you are very, very important. We were talking
Yeah, I said, if our government stand up today to their responsibility, I said, okay, please, private, government want to go to educating the citizenry now. Want to give them quality education, and they started giving it. I said they can't do it all. They can't. Even if they budgeted 50% of their budget to education, they can't do exactly what we need. And I now said private sector,
Okay.
private sector is not the next option. Then you want to ask me what's the next? What option should we? You see, if we really understand the meaning of education and its benefits, you will discover that the education of that your neighbor, the children of your neighbor there, who normally fight with you during market time, that you are selling my market, or you normally fight almost every week. Education of their children should be your priority. Why? Because if you educate your child, quality education to your child, and his or her own child lacks one, your child will not enjoy that quality education in future.
Hmm.
So community schooling is what can save us.
Hmm.
When it is community, nobody is ready to explore the next person. What do I mean explore? When you now start asking me to come and be paying 150,000, 200,000 for a child going to preschool, primary school, it's exploitation of the highest order. Education is free, should be free because it's a right to those children. But in the name of you know Kajo, me, I'll give you the best quality of education you don't ever see in life. In fact, they will be doing the blah blah. In that name, I must be paying you 150,000 per time. It's an expectation. If it is a community, I can tell you, if this community is serious about the education of their children in the community, the type of facility they will put in the school, no individual will be able to do it. Then
Be joined.
Then the community will now come around and say, okay, it is our school. Whatever government gives to us, we will add to it. Then we put our children there and charge less. So that my neighbor who is fighting me all the time and can't afford even 20,000 per cannot afford 5,000 and put the child there. So that my child, Baba Olowo in the Adugo, and the child of these people, they will go to the same education. When they are growing, all of them will have. And there won't be anyone to be now looking at them and how many of us in Nigeria today can buy a car of 40 million and put himself and his family there and start going to Abuja from Ibadan? Talole.
You'll be afraid.
Come on, afraid. For the dark correcting way.
Wow.
That's the society we built.
Guilty.
People are shouting Fulani. It's not only Fulani that are kidnapping now. It's not only Fulani. We have, there's Alimajiri in the southwest. No. Do you know there's southwestern government are raising Alimajiri here? Am I lying? No, please go to all our public schools. Go to public primary schools in southwest. Don't look at building. Go and take a statistics. And one matter in 10, 15 years ago, where are they? And come and tell Salami Shola Akindele at the end that we have all the children that went to public pre-primary and primary school in the last 15 years. This is the percentage of them that are already in the university. Come and tell me.
They end up being the touts, the thugs, and co-winners.
And when they misbehave in the society, you started calling them names. The hoodlums. The Alimajiris. What's the difference between somebody who has primary education cannot do any other thing and the Alimajiris in the north? What's the difference between them?
Oh my God.
That's what we're raising here. So, but if the community should come, like for instance, we are in Ojo community. Let's say in Ojo community here, the totality of Ojo have 2 public primary schools. government-owned primary schools. They now said, okay, this is our school in the community. Now let's stand up to it. All of you, you are selling, you are doing this. This is the amount you are going to be paying to so account that will be well monitored. And with the money we started using in our school. First, face validity. Let's change. My brother, you can't do 2 years. Kò sí private school tó lè dìde ní community yẹn tó lè beat it.
Because it's a joint thing.
Effort.
And everybody, you know that we are all stakeholders in this.
And the amount you are going to be paying your teacher, government cannot afford it. Because by the time you decide, and you are going to be paying the money again, it won't be a pain to you. Let's assume there is a company, just one company in Ojo, and you tell that company, please, if you are still going to stay here, you are going to be paying so percent of your profit per year to this school thing. So every year, then àwọn ọlọ́kadà tí ègbọ́n náà yìí don't, this is a one way otigbabe àsanwó gbogbo owó yẹn divert it to. Then individuals, if I'm living in Ojo and I discover that Mrs. Adegunle just bought a whiteboard to 3 classes in that our school, I know that for say, I will go and buy something. Somebody will buy a bus for the school. Somebody will say, okay, you don't know, okay, let me give them this amount. Do you know one thing? We are going to pay the teacher even more than what government is paying them. And then we are now going to say, okay, every child in Ojo, this is the school you are going to be attending, and you are going to pay less. If we fail to stand up, and we are still thinking government,
Wow.
So the bridge, that is what I think we should do. Have solution. They have something to do. School has something to do, and the parents.
Wow. Parenting the 21st century, going through the aspect of our schools and looking at the early childhood. That's what we are really focusing upon with Dr. Salami. Thank you so much. And Dr. Ibe, now we are talking about the aspect of kids that okay, if we want to really do a serious work, we must do it early. Or is it too late?
You see,
Is it too late for us?
presently,
Yes.
those children in Prep 4, there's hardly anything you can do about them again. They will be like us. Exactly. But if we are serious that really we want to make the change, we start with the year. This coming session, we are going to start with those children in age 3. Everything about them has to change. Let's keep on like that. And we don't stop anymore. It will just be a gradual process, and this thing will be it will be fading away. Those of us that have been, I don't know the name we are going to, so we will just fade off, and then we are going to have a very good generation. That is exactly what I presented to them in Abuja. And that's only you can't. There's no amount of soldiers you bring down to this place. You can't stop this kidnapping, killing, ritualists, all those things, stealing, armed robbery. You can't stop it anymore. You can't, because unless you said all of you come, we are going to give you a job that will give you 300, 400, 500,000 per month. You give it to those guys. Maybe some of them will repent. But if this 30,000, 20,000 naira job, you can't give it to those guys for them to stop. And we are the one that raised them. We're the one that developed them. It's like I've just shown you how we've been developing elementary in Southwest. So we're the one that developed them. But if we said no, it has to stop, then we must have a government that's okay. Total reformation of educational system from so year we are starting, and they will start with the generation, and then moving on with them. Gradually.
But we have a problem.
Okay.
Politics, our politics and politicians. When you see maybe a regime was doing something good,
Yes, exactly.
next regime
We do worst.
would like to tell the whole Nigeria that those ones they are not doing it well. They will just shift. Maybe that's you are now saying that we must continue it if we want something.
Sir, what, there was a time you said something like majority of parents still don't, and I said it's not majority, it's all of us. That issue of politics you are saying also is still all of us. May I tell you why? If Governor A come to your state and did what we think is the right thing, and Governor B now comes and said, this thing is not, he's trying to and want to destroy it, then you don't supposed to sit at home again. I don't supposed to sit at home again. We first started with writing. Write, phone him, call him. If he's not doing, reversing whatever madness he brought in, then all of us are sleeping we started sleeping in the secretariat. Reverse it. Give us education we built. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, it's not as if I want to reveal my own identity. I'm an activist.
No.
There was a time a governor was trying to sell public schools. I don't know, maybe you heard about that case. There are some public schools, they want to sell it to private individual. The governor called it PPP. I was on a radio program. I tried to explain what PPP means, public-private partnership, what it means, and that what my governor is doing is not.
It's not what
They don't want to hear. ASU and some other organization now said no. The day they wanted to go and do the meeting, I was there. I was there. If BCS will show the video tomorrow, you will see somebody with a bell, ringing a bell. I was there. Because what we're saying is, when this is a school you even attended as the governor. When you were young, you attended the school. If it was private, then will you be able to afford it? So when the bad governance comes, citizens will say no. When Trump said he's destroying America, it was not another governor or the senators alone that said no, Trump, don't do this. It is the citizen. They voted him out.
So
You see?
we should make sure that all these things are progressive or whatever.
Yes. When let us have a working system. Let us see that we have planted something that will work.
The community now.
Yes, I mean, as a government, let there be one that will work. So when we see one working, then we don't allow anybody to destroy it.
We defend it.
You have to be defended.
That is the government.
That's for the
But
government.
now, I think we have to talk about something that can work. The community now, everybody now, let's do something.
Yes. Now for the community, it is not too late. In fact, we have
Because if you have to say government, we have to.
Olani.
So, but community now,
Community,
Starting
we have
from
public,
you.
yes, we have public schools
Okay.
in our community.
yes.
Government is doing their own. Each community now should look for experts to consult with. We want to take the education of our children into our hands in our community. We have this number of public schools. What should we do? Okay, the consultant will not be saying, okay, this is what's supposed to be in this type of school. Go and get it. Put this there. They take this and started doing it. Thank God the government is not collecting money. But all our children will have quality education.
Wow. Viewers, we are on 21st Century Parenting. We are together with Dr. Salame Ishola Akindele from Faculty of Education. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Just so happy. Oh, really? I know some of you are watching this. They are not people who want to maybe I is a consultant and
Teacher.
every day and activist. But he's in the heat. What is this maybe working in all our communities.
It's not a matter of I don't have my child there. Yeah, no, it is just put it at the back of your mind that if we educate 50 children and we fail to educate one, that one is enough to destroy the 50 children. It's enough. So if you have that at the back of your mind, then you know what to.
Guys, someone wants to put. Okay, all right. Now we look at this. We can keep going.
Okay, I thought you said somebody calling me.
No, okay.
His phone number.
This phone number.
Ah, okay, sir.
How we can be.
Okay, sir. I'll give it out, but let me quickly say something that we need to watch out for. The education we're giving, there are two problems with it. Even when the one we call quality education, we have infiltrated our curriculum with foreign ideas. One. Number two, that means we've jettisoned our culture. Yeah,
We have to consider our
we have to design our curriculum. That's number one. Then number two,
and it's not fair because that we are using foreign candidates.
the foreign laws are not good for us. Maybe another day. But,
Okay.
but let me quickly say this, sir. If a Yoruba man have a child, would that Yoruba prefer raising the child like Igbo child? Do we raise our child exactly the same way? Bearing in mind that when Igbo are greeting one another, when you are greeting your father, you stand up. But in Yoruba, when you are greeting your father, you prostrate. What will make a Yoruba man want to raise his child like that? That is just in Nigeria. Now, what we normally do is to want to raise American in Nigerian soil by bringing American curriculum here. Majority of the madness in the world today were raised in America. Where do we have sack to sack trouser? Half dress for a lady to all the cuffs be outside is from where? Gay, lesbians is from where? We have to educate.
Based on our culture.
Let me close that by saying people need to go and read something I call fun FUN hyphen rigor theory of child development. Go to Google, just type fun rigor theory of child development. Salami Shola Akindele, put it there. I think you should be able to see it online.
It's online, sir.
You will now see the type of education we should develop for our children. In America, when a child talks, a child is allowed to behave as if he's a grown adult that can make choice, that can make everything. You don't query them, you don't beat them, you don't do anything. The mental of children is wrong. Children has no sense to reason good or bad. So when children is doing something bad, that child has to be corrected. It is in the Bible that we should be correcting children. You don't dare do that in America. And that is the curriculum we are bringing down here. Go and read phone record theory of child development. Yes, it's a theory. It's a theory I propounded.
Propounded by me.
So we see everything.
You will see, and you can call me when my phone number, right? 080 62 59 90 080 62 59 90 60.
Salame Shola Akindele.
Thank you very much.
From Faculty of Education, Department of Early Childhood and
Educational Foundation.
Doctor, you are coming back because I have a lot of questions are just coming up on my mind to really tell you and to really ask you how are we going to get all these things and with all this your way to experience, I believe somewhere somebody a regime will be interested in you to really give us what we need to do to correct these abnormalities in the life of our youth, in our teenagers, and where we have missed it. Oh, wonderful.
We just have to go.
We just have to go. Mommy Adegorite, can you just say something possibly to appreciate
Okay.
of our
It's my Oga.
We are one.
Yes, it's my Oga. So, I thank God that, I know he has this passion.
wow.
I just told him and he was like, wow. So I want to appreciate you. Really, really, really good. I always pray one prayer that posterity would, reward you in the mighty name of Jesus. And you promised our pastor that you will come
No
again.
problem.
Because today is just the two of you. I was
We are
just
just
sitting back.
starting.
Okay.
We are just starting. Unnecessary, with what you said, the parents, the one that you are a patent right on, and nobody did anything. Oh, wow. So we have a lot of genius in Nigeria that are doing great work that can solve the present situation, that can solve the present problem. So please, that is the phone number of our Dr. Salame, and you can go see him face to face, Faculty of Education, University of Ibadan. Oh, on behalf of everyone, I want to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
To really take you, as you are just resumed now, we'll still talking about those one.
No problem.
Some of these things that how we are.
I'm fully involved.
Yeah, I'm really involved. We're going to talk about that. So now we thank God for creating time for us to come for this program. So next week, by the special grace of God, Mommy Adegorite Usadoluwa, what will you say? As parting word.
Okay, I just want to let our parents know
Yeah.
that we moved to this side to that side, but he still said something, and that was the first thing he said.
Yeah.
He said home. He said parents. There, you can't control what others can do, but you can control what you have to do.
Yeah.
And from time to time we've been saying some things. Go on internet, go on Google, and I'm so happy that even my Oga is saying go on internet, get phone rigor theory. And so many other things that we've mentioned. Please, parents, we can't just sit down. The government cannot come to your home to do some things. The teachers cannot come to your home to do some things. Those things that you can do, please take a step and do.
We help us in Jesus'
name. Amen.
Thank you so much. So see you next time, the same time, the same station, Christ Proclaimer radio station, at the same time, 12 noon on Fridays. Fridays, we're going to be